popular musician King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, also known as K1, is denying claims from the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria that he violated boarding rules earlier this week while trying to board a ValueJet flight to Abuja. It comes as both the Airports Authority and the Civil Aviation Authority are investigating an incident that has reportedly been captured in a now viral video when a ValueJet plane started leaving its designated area without adhering to pre-departure rules. Let's take a look at the video, and it's a little shocking. We'll play it now.
Wait now, show you strong. Why you not wait?
So in a press release, the FAAN says this moment happened after K1 tried to bring a liquid on board, which isn't allowed. They say that after refusing to comply, the liquid spilled on an officer, which is how they found out it was alcohol. K1 then moved to the front of the aircraft and refused to leave the area. Well, now the musician's spokesperson is saying that's not true. That, quote, at no point did K1 act in a manner that endangered lives or breached safety regulations. They say that the substance in question, which was wrongly sensationalized in their words, was nothing more than plain drinking water given to him at the airport lounge while he waited to board. And, I'd like to get all of your reactions to this story, but Rufai, I'll start with you because it seems like everyone has different accounts of what happened. But at the end of the day, the video that we saw looks like a lot of people's lives were being put at risk. So this is a serious matter.
Okay, so everyone has different accounts to what happened. And that's why sometimes I will have thought that probably those that witnessed it, some of the passengers were able to give us a video evidence. Because in things like this, it's always about what you said, what the other person said. I've also had another account. In fact, somebody sent to me that he was with even the owner of the airline, and the owner of the airline had been calling him to appeal to him and say, okay, just let it go or something. And, there are many accounts. So that one is circulating. I can't, that's an anecdotal evidence. I've not independently verified anything. I can't take that seriously. But like Donald Rumsfeld will say, let's go from known to unknowns. The knowns, what do we know? We know that Wasiu Ayinde Marshal was in front of the plane on the tarmac. He was not supposed to be there. Wrong. Secondly, we know that once somebody was in front of the plane, the pilot was not supposed to bolt away like that. The pilot, wrong. I think the pilots have been suspended.
Yes.
So those are two knowns. Let's go to unknowns. Did he hold any cup or something? Anecdotal. No evidence. Do we have a picture of him holding cup? No. How could we verify that it was alcohol? They said it spilled on somebody on the plane. Again, do we have any evidence of that thing that was in the cup that we can bring out and say, this is alcohol? I say that also because we need to get all these facts right in doing a holistic thing. Yeah, I know there's another part of society that say, oh, people are very high-handed, especially they are big men. Wasiu is close to the president. He holds a prominent position in Djibouti and all of that. But I'm talking to facts now. Where is FAAN's evidence to ascertain that it was alcohol that was in that cup? How did he get to the position of boarding a plane when alcohol is not allowed? To get to the position of boarding and even getting to even spill alcohol when he got on the plane. How did he get on the tarmac in the first place? And you had some officers placating. So what is the evidence of those officers that were talking to him? What were they talking about? I think going forward, we should have recording cameras on the tags, on the shirts of these FAAN officers, on their jackets. Because we need evidence. Secondly, I think going forward, this is one too many with he said, I said, and FAAN. Exactly Example was what happened between Adams Oshiomhole, Air Peace, and FAAN. We can't afford that. I think also going forward, we must be able to have an holistic review that every passenger can abide by. So now we know that you're not permitted to take liquids in. But on the contrary, we have also have people that ask and say, on international flights, we can take liquids. Yes, but that's after you get to a point where all the liquids you have been checked and they know at the
under 50 mils.
Under 50 mils and the value-free area.
100 mils.
You can carry a certain threshold for international flights. But on local flights, we know better. So on this matter, it's very hazy. If you will give me a video now that shows Wasiu Ayinde Marshal spilling the drink on this person, I will be the first to abuse Wasiu here. If you can give me a lab report that shows this was the item taken from Wasiu Ayinde Marshal and its alcohol, I would be the one to berate him. But I like to talk about the things I know, and that's why I went from known to unknown. So it's still very easy. There's a lot of anecdotal back and forth. It's about, if you also give me a video of a passenger on board that video when the altercation was happening, yes, so maybe FAAN should bring us those investigations, let it come back. Without that, it would be, I said, you said. But we have seen the faults from there. The pilot was wrong. Wasiu was also wrong to be in front of the plane at that point in time.
It's very dangerous. What about
I stand to be corrected, but I think the captain can deny any passenger boarding from the flight at any moment. Of course, if you're airborne, that's difficult. But the airline does reserve the right to deny any passenger access onto the aircraft if they feel that there is a security risk, if they feel so many things, because the primary thing in aviation is security. So it would have been one situation if he has been denied access boarding onto the aircraft and then he went back and challenged that he was denied. But what we see is you are denied access to board the aircraft. And then, unfortunately, there's this situation where, because he's also surrounded by some of the ground staff, they're behaving in a reckless way. I would have thought that there would have been somebody to restrain him, because they were also just kind of there loitering. You know, they didn't make an attempt to direct him to a safe place. I've never in my life seen a passenger walk in front of an aircraft that close to the very front of it. Usually there are even, cones, there's demarcation, there's something, right? So I say this to say that I think that there's a degree of impunity that happens. I know that those in aviation will get upset at this type of statement because that's not the image we want to paint. But the truth is, if you travel domestically in this Nigeria, you will know that you have been through one or two things that you will never see anywhere else. That's the honest truth. Whether it's people rushing to board, whether it's people, there's a lot of things that are happening that shouldn't be happening. And we say this not because we don't like our aviation sector. We say this because let's resolve it. Let's fix it. Let there be sanity. Because when there's sanity, when it's well regulated, people will know that they can't get away with big manism if it's a case of big manism. When there are rules and they're adhered to, and we know that these rules are going to be implemented, then people will also fall into line. So yes, we can speak of the high-profile cases, but there are low-profile cases that happen on a daily basis with regular passengers who also feel that they've been wronged by the aircraft. So they feel like they can also retaliate by doing their worst. But I just thank God that in all of this, nobody was injured, nobody was killed, because that could have been, this story could have ended a lot more tragically. And I just sincerely hope that all of this can be ironed out and resolved in an amicable way. Some people are saying that, the pilot should be suspended for an extended period of time. Some people are even saying that the passenger should also be put on a no-fly list. I think that we can use this as a teaching moment for all those all parties involved. Let's see how we can regulate this sector more closely when it comes to domestic travel.
No, I think there's something that happens when people are at the airport and in vehicles, because I think the mentality of it is something like road rage is, again, an international problem. But again, there's something that happens to people when they're in their cars and they really, really are hypersensitive. If someone crosses in front of you, you get angry. You've seen many videos of people jumping out of their cars, getting into fisticuffs. And I think that you see that also at airports. I don't know what it is, whether it's the strict rules or people thinking that they are too important to adhere to liquid rules or timing rules or whatever. There's something that happens when people are in transport or in transit that really distorts the way they behave. In terms of Kwam One himself, Wasiu Ayinde, he said, he released a statement, I saw it on social media, and he talked about how he feels as though he is the victim in this situation. He talked about how he had received numerous apologies from many people, from the Airports Authority, from the managing director of the airline himself, basically saying that all of them agreeing that he had been treated poorly, and we really don't know what the ins and outs are. As you've said, we don't know what actually happened, whether or not he was on board, whether he was on his seat, whether or not he made it that far. There's so many questions that need to be answered. What we have seen, though, the video is shocking, and I think it shows that there was bad behavior all round. First and foremost, everyone needs to prioritize their own personal safety and the safety of others. There should be no reason why any passenger should be that close to the outside of a plane, regardless of who they are. So I don't know why that happened. And it is very unfortunate and very shocking to see that a pilot who you'd expect to be well-educated, well-trained, would ever deploy their vehicle or a weapon in this instance so close to other people. As I said, there's bad behavior all around, and we're hoping that everything comes to an amicable solution, but there does need to be a bit more understanding that everybody needs to behave properly at the airport, whether you're a passenger, whether you're security staff, whether you're a pilot. Let's not abuse our powers, whatever they be, and let us just all contribute to a peaceful travel experience.
We don't do this internationally. We like to
people
do it
to be honest. People do. I've seen people misbehave in airports. Honestly, people misbehave. That's what I'm saying. That I think that
it
is the
happens
thing.
everywhere.
People misbehave in airports.
Maybe
for
not
sure.
standing in front of a plane.
That one I haven't seen. That one I haven't seen.
First time for everything, I guess.